Thank you for the invitation. I will speak again about anatomy, and especially about the disturbed anatomy of the Arnold-Chiari malformation 1. There are very few studies, detailed anatomic studies, post-mortem of the Chiari 1 malformation. And we did a micro-MR study. The incentive for this study was, for this presentation, was that I was appointed by the court as a legal expert for this case. A 15-year-old young boy who was hydrocephalic, hydrocephalic in his yard. And then since a couple of months, more than a year, he complained about headaches, progressively more and more about headaches and neck pain. And once the shunt was already displaced, was already replaced, but the headaches remained, persisted. And then suddenly he collapsed, and in 2 days he died. The parents were not happy with the diagnosis, and then it turned out that more than a year before there were made CT scans, and already on the CT scan you see the Chiari malformation 1. The left tonsil was descended, and then just a couple of hours before he died, an MR scan, the first in his life, was made, and they saw the Chiari malformation 1. On this image, you could say it is a simple, it is an ordinary tonsillar herniation, as is happening in every rise of intracranial pressure. But a year before, it was a real Arnold-Chiari malformation. We have in the universities of Maastricht, Hasselt in Belgium, and Liège in Belgium, a laboratory for experimental MR. We do post-mortem human anatomy, and I already presented for this meeting about the spinal cord. We have a program for neuroanatomy, fetal neuroanatomy, preparing fetal surgery, neuropathology, and also in vivo animal experiments for microanatomy with 11 Tesla magnet. Now, before that, I will give I cannot resist to show you the beautiful images of this MR, micro-MR neuropathology of neuroanatomy. This is the cadaver anatomy, and here you see some special things that we can visualize, and that's for example, the dorsal rudimentary zone. You see the nerve root entering the pia limitans and forming the tractus of Rissauer. Here you see another image, a sagittal image and a frontal image, and that becomes a bit more difficult. The sagittal image, you see the nerves. It's so sensible, these iPad. You see the nerve coming in, ascending, and only Carcal described in the previous century that the nerves were ascending, and you see here the nerves ascending. And then when you look in the frontal, coronal slice, you see the nerves entering in the posterior white matter and descending, taking a sharp edge and descending up to the nucleus gracile and coniatus. The lower brainstem and the foramen magnum. These are pictures you can recognize at a glance. You see, and in preparation for what I will going to say, you see the nucleus tractus solitarius here, the nucleus gracilis, nucleus cuneatus, nucleus tractus 5, and oliva. Again. And that is the lowest part, the limit area between the medulla oblongata and the spinal cord. Here where the nucleus tractus spinalis nervus trigeminus is in transition with the posterior horn in the spinal cord. Now, these images, every time when I see these images, I enjoy the images. When you look at the fanning out of the decussatio pyramidum, the decussatio pyramidum fanning out here and forming the lateral corticospinal tract, or when you see the horizontal courses of the tractus spinothalamicus and the ascending fibers to form to go to the thalamus, and then the posterior white matter. The coronal sections, they are more difficult. You can recognize here, a little bit in front, you can recognize the fanning out of the decussatio pyramidum, and a little bit higher here, you can see the FLM, the fasciculus medial longitudinal fasciculus. When I go further and we make transections, then you see at this level you have the image that you can recognize easily, but here this image that becomes more difficult to interpret. And you see here, nearly at the limit of the brainstem and the medulla oblongata, the blue arrow pointing to the longitudinal medial fasciculus, the anterior horn, and here part of the decussatio pyramidum. We can follow also the medial meniscus and the tractus spinothalamicus higher in the diencephalon and in transition between mesencephalon and diencephalon. That is not so easy to interpret this anatomy. Then coming to the alveolar malformation 1. It is descent, everybody knows it, is descent of the tonsil, 1 or 2 tonsils. It is acquired, and it is mostly related to syringomyelia. But what is mostly forgotten, was also forgotten in my tragic case, the incentive of this presentation, that the brainstem also has been damaged by this malformation. You see the typical aspect here of the descended tonsil, the pointed aspect. Here the operation that is the smallest skull base operation, but a freaking done operation. And nobody knows what exactly to do. There are at least 15, in literature, 15 ways to operate this Chiari malformation 1. I always did a 2.5 by 2.5 centimeter decompression. Then comes the opening or not of the arachnoidea. I always try to preserve the arachnoidea to avoid the fibrotic scar tissue. Here in this slide you see that the tonsil has become rounded, that it had not more that caudal sharp aspect. And that means that the decompression was excellent. You see also that the syringomyelia nearly has disappeared but collapsed sufficiently. Then you see here a sagittal image, and that was strange, that the oliva inferior is elongated. Actually, that is not possible. It is not an anal Chiari malformation 2. There, the oliva inferior is elongated. because the brainstem doesn't fit in the fossa posterior. But in Chiari malformation 1, it is elongated, but also in MRI, the frontier between medulla and frontier between medulla and spinal cord, that is always fake. Nobody can make a line where the frontier exactly is. But here you see, there's the first thing that I could observe, that is that the oliva is elongated and flattened. And here you see the tonsil. That is a good result. The tonsil is rounded caudally. Here you see the postmortem specimen. And you see the microanatomic of the microneuropathology. We like to call it microneuropathology. And once a day will come that we all will do micro-MR neuropathology, because you can see nearly all what you need in histology. It can perhaps replace the light microscope. You see the pathologic specimen, and then you see here on the left, on the right side, the flattening, the ventriposterior flattening, and at the other side you see the rounding, you see the compression and lateral compression to the lateral bottom of the foramen magnum. There's two important deformations of that part of the brain stem. You see here the light microscopic version. When you do MR, you always can do, the specimen remains available for neurohistologic examination, and you can compare it. And here it is very interesting, it is interesting to see that in the compressed part against the lateral border of the foramen magnum, that the nucleus tractus spinalis nervus trigeminus has disappeared. That the nucleus tractus spinalis has disappeared here. And when we go to the clinical history of the patient, then we see that was written in the files that the sensibility, there was a kind of neuropathy in that side of the face. And then you see also that the nucleus tractus solitarius has disappeared. But when we looked at the clinical files, there was no correlation with the clinic. Damage caused is also by syringomyelia. And when you see this picture of the medulla oblongata, then we had the nerves, we had the flattening, we had the rounding here, the compression at the other side. Then we see also the gliotic changes of the tracts, the tracts that passing through the medulla oblongata, the gliotic changes, but they are not coming from the compression from the Chiari, they are related to the syringomyelia. Like here, the pyramid, it has a much higher signal intensity than normal, and the same is true for the medial lemniscus, and the same is true also for the fasciculus anterolaterales. Same is true for the fasciculus anterolaterales, the tractus spinothalamicus. That was shortly what I wanted to present, what the possibilities are in that neuropathology of the future. And then I started with a tragic case, but here I end with a heavy case that was Chiari-related syringomyelia, operated years before because of scoliosis by osteocentesis and so on. And then this patient was so happy that I operated the syringomyelia and the Chiari malformation, that it was a Dutch painter, that he made for me this picture, with which I'm very happy with. Thank you very much.